it doesn't really work by itself.
Well, we'll see how well or how these teams have adapted in this third and final game of the series. Malphite has been banned out. They've denied it in this particular round. It was not banned in game 2, nor was it picked.
So they were thinking what I was thinking. Yes, we'd much rather have Jarvan engage on us than that Malphite, because Jarvan, yes, he can contain you in that Cataclysm, but it doesn't lock you down, and you can continue to do damage to him for the duration. That was much more successful and much easier for Dark Passage to defend against.
This is one of the things that I love about best of threes. And you get to that final matchup, it's like, well, we don't want to deal with that Gragas because he was frustrating to deal with, so they banned him out. Twitch saying, hey, look, game 1, it was all about Twitch in the lane. We don't want to deal with that. We talked about the key ingredients for Kha'Zix and Gragas for that pick sort of comp to work. Would you think Dark Passage would still consider a Kha'Zix pick as a first when there's still so many things open, like the Zac, which you could also deny from paiN?
I think Zac is definitely still a really high priority because paiN will take that away if it's given to them. Looks like they don't want to go down that road, though.
Well, locking in that Caitlyn. So similar sort of decision-making. They're denying that from BRTT. It's also one of the safer AD carries, and we'll just have to see whether or not Dark Passage can make it work for them in this particular match.
No pentakill for you this game.
Well, we'll see. BRTT got his penta on Caitlyn yesterday.
That's why they're thinking no penta. We're going to take Caitlyn away.
We'll see. Maybe he wants to grab it for himself. So it's my turn to shine now. paiN Gaming, on the other hand, and actually both of these teams have used the entirety of this clock. They used the full minute countdowns on the bans. They're using the full countdowns now on locking in. I imagine they're as confused as we are in terms of what they want to do.
Well, you could see they immediately turned around and started to huddle after that last game, and they haven't even had enough time yet to fully come up with their solution for this Dark Passage team. Yes, they banned out part of the comp that was run last time, but it's still available for Dark Passage to go heavy assassins and just try and pull paiN Gaming's team apart by using split pushing.
So we see the Ezreal and Son has been locked in. That could be the duo lane, could be even double AD if paiN wanted to try that one out. And if I recall correctly, Ezreal was banned in game 1 and 2. He's definitely been banned at least one of the games in the series. So it's a pickup that paiN had been denied, and now they're quite happy to get their hands on.
I don't think they'll go with a double AD comp. That does not seem like paiN's style to me. They definitely like to have a much stronger front line and mid line than back line. So I think that's going to be the duo lane right here, the Son and Ezreal combo, to answer back to the early power of a Caitlyn.
And it also doesn't reveal your hand. I mean, we know nothing about what paiN Gaming are going to do. There's no jungler selected. There's no solo laners. We like to think we know how they're going to play the game, but we need to see the champions to actually back up that little strategy and back up that aggressive game plan. This time around, however, there's not going to be a Zac available for them.
Well, they definitely prefer the red side so that they can have that counter-picking situation available. That's why they started on red side, because they got to choose coming into this. And now, having that again, they're a bit more comfortable. Even though they did leave up that Zac, and Malphite's already banned, it'll be interesting to see what they go for their hard engage now that their two main options are off the table.
And if any team's going to know how to deal with a super hard engage and people flinging themselves at you, paiN Gaming is going to be well aware of what costs them their team fights and what's costed them, engagements in the past. So we have seen the Nocturne. It has usually been paired with the Malphite, and the Monkey King's locked in.
That one is kind of out of left field. But talking about hard engage, this is one that's not used very often. Wukong's ultimate is amazing. You can knock up all 5 people if you can get to them during the duration. And plus, it does a lot of damage that people are not expecting, because people don't play against Wukong very often. It's not even used in solo queue very much. So you don't get a lot of experience against that champion.
Well, we'll have to see how well they can make it work. Charu ran Wukong against Fnatic in the Super Week, last week, week 9. And he had a pretty good game. Fnatic started off slowly in that matchup. They managed to claw it back and win. But it is a very, very impactful champion, especially early on. And we'll see whether or not Kami wants it mid or Venom wants it top, because the few times we have seen it, it has been sort of interchangeable.
It's they're keeping it a little bit open there for the last pick, so they can have the final counter pick here. But you can already see what they're going to do with the composition. They want to turn out the lights with Nocturne to force Dark Passage to group up, and then they can use that Crescendo and Wukong combo to lock up the entire team.
Well, we'll have
I was going to go into an Akali thing.
Get excited. It's not Jungle Cassidy. It's not Jungle Cassidy, Kobe. Let's talk about Dark Passage's composition. There's a lot of damage and good champions, but I don't see a lot of inherent synergy there between that Kha'Zix, Zac, and Karthus. Outside of, hey, look, let's kill you, let's let Requiem get a reset and hope Fab can repeat. I mean, there's not much CC there. Zyra Sona could have maybe fitted them a little better.
It is going to be a lot harder for Fab to get into the team fights now. They don't have any means of splitting paiN up, and paiN have the Crescendo and they have the Wukong. So if Kha'Zix get caught in either of those CCs, they can easily burn him down when he jumps in, because Ahri's so mobile, she can reposition herself whenever Fabulous does come in to land her skill shots and take him out very, very quickly.
Yeah, we've seen how Ahri has been counterpicked to Karthus, again, numerous times during the course of the Wildcard tournament. It's been sort of one of the preferred mids in that regard. So we'll have to see how well it works out. Dark Passage this time around, we talked about the early game. I think the laning phase may be even more important than the two previous matchups because of their lack of synergy in team fights. I think if they don't get ahead, they might be in a difficult position.
And it's going to be hard because Ahri by herself already has kill potential on Karthus, but when you pair that with Nocturne, as soon as Nocturne hits level 6, there's no way for Karthus, if he's even in the middle of the lane, he's halfway up, he cannot get away from an Ahri and a Nocturne engage post level 6.
Well, we'll have to see how effective they pull it off. There is the massive crowd here at Gamescom. I wonder if we're going to try. Are you guys ready to yell Demacia before we get into this game? I'm going to try one more time. I failed last time. So on 3, give me a Demacia. 1, 2, 3. That was much better. That was much better.
I told you have to have the League of Legends theme, Trevor.
That's it. The League of Legends theme gets everybody excited. We are into the final match here at Day 2 in Gamescom, and it is the final game in the semi-final between Turkey's Dark Passage and Brazil's paiN Gaming. The winner gets to challenge Lithuania's Gaming Gear on Friday. And let's see how they handle this one. Dark Passage grouping up towards this blue buff.
Now, last time around, Fabulous did start with this red elixir, and he went extremely aggressive, level 1. But this time around, Vinon's got to be expecting that. And so he's posted up in this tri-bush, gonna hightail it out of there.
Well, let's get a ward down. Oh! And just to get taken out, actually. So a little bit of an early advantage there in favor of Dark Passage, and Venom not going to have that early vision that he was hoping.
That's actually a very big win for Dark Passage, being able to burn the top laner ward. Wukong already is at a little bit of a disadvantage, not running that ignite in lane, so he doesn't have the same kill potential in lane. And Fabulous is free to go very aggressive on him, especially since now there's not going to be vision.
Well, we do see both of these teams moving around one another. That's 5v5, but Dark Passage was fairly split up there. However, Holy Thoth was able to get that ward down on the red buff and just to get that vision superiority. I want to touch on the summon spells really, really quickly, as Fabulous's Kha'Zix has gone for that flash barrier once again. And Naru and Holy Thoth have both locked in those exhausts. So keep that in mind. We highlighted how impactful exhaust was yesterday during the group stages. And against Wukong and Nocturne and Ahri, they could be equally, if not more effective in this matchup.
Yeah, Karthus, very big fan of taking exhaust, and then having it also on the support means they do have 2 answers for the dive-in, but on the same token, they don't have any ignite on the team.
Well, we'll have to see if that comes back to burn them on the bottom, as these fights do actually play out. Riosta is going to start off on his red buff, Surti starting off on his. Basically mirror images of one another's jungles. They should be roaming around. Once again, we see a straight-up matchup. 2v2, 1v1. However, this time, our dual laners are, in theory, where they belong in the bottom lane.
And the top laners, it'll be very interesting to see. I think that Fabulous is going to continue going with his aggressive style and try to bully out Vinon. He's already made him chug through 1 potion here, and he just has to bide his time. They already destroyed the ward, so at any moment, they could call up jungle presence, and that's really going to be the difference in that brawl up top.
Well, we'll definitely have to keep our eyes on that lane matchup. You know, Kha'Zix sort of fallen out of favor in recent months, and Wukong is a champion we seldom see at best. So potential for something explosive to happen is very, very high, especially once they both hit 6. And there's just such an immense amount of damage that can come down from either of them. As it starts, though, Both junglers with their double buffs, maybe looking for an opportunity, looking for somewhere to gank.
Deciding to farm up instead, and with no wards for paiN inside Dark Passage jungle, it means that Zach actually is going to have the upper hand here, and his gank is going to be a bit more surprising. Both top laners are playing fairly passively though, just trying to farm, because both of them are indeed blind right now with no ward coverage.
And you can see that both junglers are actually heading towards that top lane. Nocturne and Zach are closing in on both Fab and Venom. We'll have to see whose crowd control lands. Remember that Nocturne's going to need to hang around a little bit longer.
Oh, this is going to be a nice 2 versus 2. The minion wave is in Dark Passage's favor.
Fab does leap forwards, put a lot of damage down into Venom. However, the crushing blow comes out. The slow doesn't manage to come out, and Venom flashes to safety. Now the fear proc does get avoided by Fab, but flash burned. Venom is very low.
This is a great time to get Venom very low too, because they have a huge minion wave that he does not want to leave. If he loses out on all that experience, he's going to just lose that top lane matchup and have to have support.
We'll have to see if they decide to tower dive this one. Red Puff was actually drank in that previous fight, so Fab is a little low on mana. We'll have to see if he decides to jump in, and all of those potions and that Rejuvi bead are doing work, as Venom has now got more HP than Sir T, his jungler. It doesn't look like Riosta or Fab are going to commit to any overextended play or to any tower dive, and both junglers end up backing away.
So he chugs all the potions, but he's also going to have to play defensively. This is the Aqua Prison.
He throws out the Aqua Prison, catches absolutely no one, forced to flash away, does get out cleanly. But BRTT and Espeon managing to win out that trade. They got the summoner spell down without the aid of a jungler.
This is why they continually look for that 2 versus 2 situation, because they have so much confidence in BRTT's ability.
Now Sir T's trying to put some pressure onto Fab. He does have flash and barrier. Isolation bonus plus taste their fears. Gonna hit particularly hard. Barrier comes up. He's forced to flash, running out of mana. And it means
the timing on that flash was so good for Fabulous.
It's not over yet as Riosta slingshots himself on, does get feared away, flashes forward, manages to use an unstable matter to secure first blood. And thanks to that Duskbringer, Sir T's going to be able to get the movement speed he needs to run away.
Fairly sure that Minon had come in invisible for his charge on Wukong, and that Fabulous's flash going off right after the dash from Wukong was used was luck, but that was the perfect situation for Dark Passage, because it allowed the follow-up here from Zach. No invisibility available for Wukong, meant that they were actually the ones able to capitalize on and get the first blood.
Unfortunately for Fab, it peeled away too quickly or too long ago, so no assist was secured, but Riosta with the early advantage, and once again Dark Passage coming out swinging.
He does have the minion wave pushing towards him though, so he will benefit from that exchange up top. And it's going to be Wukong in the dangerous situation where he has to CS from a little bit further back.
It's going to be even more difficult as Wukong doesn't have any of those ranged abilities that Kha'Zix currently has. He's got no missile spikes in his back pocket. He'll land a crushing blow, and trades actually not as effectively as I was anticipating. Fab got a little bit of lifesteal back thanks to those void spikes, and the cloth armor is going to be helping out. And Ven, on the other hand, he's picked up a chain vest, so defensive starts for both of our top laners.
We do have a level 6 Karthus in the middle though, so both side lanes have to worry. Here goes Ahri in on 2.
Kami just dives all over Holy Thought. He's forced to use that exhaust, and another Aqua Prison went completely wide. There's no threat of Kami being caught by that one at all, and now exhaust is blown.
Both exhausts are blown right there, so it actually hurts the mid lane quite a lot, because Ahri post 6 does have that kill potential we were talking about. Next time Spirit rushes up, it's going to have to be Naru the one looking out.
So what we've seen from Karthus is yesterday was once they had that exhaust being down, or their opponents had an advantage, they just sat all the way back and farmed to those lay waste. We'll see if Naru continues to do the same. He is level 7. He does have that Requiem available, but nobody's gone low enough for it to be a danger or a threat yet.
Yeah, Naru's really looking for no more action in that mid lane. He just wants to farm up from a distance and then use his first Requiem for side lane support.
Well, we'll see how effectively it can be used. Now looking at this bottom lane, BRTT and Espeon doing a pretty good job. However, their opponents, Letanion and Holy Thoth, are keeping up in CS. There's 2 creeps between them and a full minion wave. They've been poking back and forth, but outside of that sort of misplay by Holy Thoth earlier, they haven't really been able to extend any sort of advantage on one another.
Well, a big part of it is that Nami as a support really depends a lot on the side lane bush control because Aqua Prisons from Vision are fairly hard to land. And if you can get the side lane bush control, then you can start throwing those from the Fog of War from the other team. And with Nami being zoned out of that bush, they don't get the opportunity for those really nice trades that usually come with the Nami lane.
Well, we'll see if Dark Passage are able to push the wave out and try to take control of that bush for the time being. You see that Nathalion is just doing the best he can to CS under the tower. Talking about CS, that top lane matchup of Fab and Venom. Still in favor of Fab. The fact that that wave was pushing against him that you talked about has put Venom quite significantly behind, actually. 20 CS, around about 600 gold. And that's a pretty big advantage before the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, the minion wave control is even more important than either the assists or the kills there from that top action. And Fab has done a great job once again capitalizing on it and once again winning his lane.
Now, we do see Venom falling a little bit further behind the CS matches. You see a pink ward goes down here from Holy Thoth. Surti with Paranoia available. He's definitely thinking about jumping in, but Riosta reading him like a book.
Teleport is also available for Wukong, plus he's 6 now, so we could finally see paiN having the same effect that he did last game.
Things are getting serious. We've gone to our quiet hunting voices, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see whether or not anybody pulls the trigger. Crescendo comes down. There goes the Paranoia. Holy Thoth has been jumped on. The knockups come down from BRTT. And now Surti's in a little bit of trouble. Requiem instantly thrown down. Teleport cannot be used as Venom is forced out of the fight. A flash forward from Nathalion is going to put damage onto paiN, but his barrier keeps him alive for a few seconds longer. Now BRTT's dropped. Venom, with next to no HP, does land the teleport. Throws the Cyclone down. They've traded 1 for 2. And Riosta gets out cleanly.
Venom does leave Zac though, so the jungler's still up. He's extremely low, so if he went for the smite still here, it would be pretty much a suicide mission.
Well, we do see paiN Gaming now, thanks to that superior team fight. We're going to be able to put a lot of damage on this dragon and secure that one fairly safely, actually. Riosta not going to be able to contest. What we did see is that as the fight started, Venom just got jumped on by Fab, and he was dropped so incredibly low. Luckily for him, the team fight was running to an end because that low HP wasn't a factor.
And they had the advantage because of the early burst on Nami. The importance of that side lane control, the pink wards in there from paiN, making that all happen.
Well, we do see that Nami, still level 5, has been unable to unlock that tidal wave. Maybe that additional crowd control could have swung things a little bit more in Dark Passage's favor, but this game is still incredibly close. Only 900 gold separates these teams thanks to that tower being dropped in the top lane. And that is one of the dangers of leaving your lane to teleport. You expose it to being taken down.
And that's really been the story, is something that's added on and compounded the fact that Fab's had a great laning phase. He's also been always up against the laner with teleport. Makes it that much easier to win the trades, and you also get left alone with minion waves.
So we do see that Fab has backed off, picked himself up that brutalizer. A little bit of early armor penetration. His opponent is stacking some armor right now. Chain vest completed. Holy Thoth still working towards getting that level 6, and he's been out of minion wave range for a while.
Now it's up to Fab to make his presence felt on somewhere else on the map. Yes, it was a great job by him answering the dragon with the top turret, but it opened up the opportunity for Venom to slow push this lane, to freeze it, and get back into the game. It's up to Fab to make a play and punish him for not being somewhere else on the map, because teleport's down right now.
Well, Riosta was thinking about picking a fight in the bottom lane, but he stood right on top of a ward. So paiN Gaming, with an instant reply, they've thrown Surti up in range. Keep an eye on those cooldowns because Paranoia is not available just yet. So Surti is thinking about a lane gank. For the time being, we still have a 3v3 cluster. And we're talking about Fab making a play. He was moving towards the mid lane, but has now opted towards the wolf camp. We see a jump in from Riosta. Crescendo goes down. They've locked up with Nathalion. There's no Paranoia available. We do see Kami slowly moving down the river. May decide to tower dive. Let's keep tabs on his position.
Karthus ulti's available, but so is Spirit Rush. So if Naru wants to be able to add that damage from mid lane, he has to get very far away from Kami so that there will be no opportunity for that charm interrupt.
Well, for the time being, he's just backdoor, farmed up that Wraith camp. And Naru doing very, very well in that mid lane. 142 CS to 120. Got that Rod of Ages completed. Yet to build any mana items. We have been seeing those Tear of the Goddesses fairly frequently on Karthus's. Karthai, whatever the plural is. And we'll have to see how Naru decides to itemize his Karthus.
And Fab has taken an advantage for the fact that paiN was freezing. He went in and counter jungled, taking the red buff so that he has even more kill potential on paiN now.
We'll see how it works out for him. Surti, very sad panda once he returns to his jungle. He's going to notice that that red buff has been taken away. He's going to get the timer on it. Stood right on top of a ward, so Dark Passage are going to be well aware of it. Fab, a small level advantage. Minion Wave is pushing towards him, but Fab's just allowing the wave to sit there. Now he's going to have control, and he's going to set the tempo against paiN's Wukong.
Now it's his turn to make paiN go somewhere else on the map and make a play, because paiN cannot overextend in that lane either. Very dangerous for him, as he has 0 ward coverage and no tower to fall back on.
Down in this bottom lane, Riosta with the Oracles clears out the ward, toying with the idea of picking a fight, but didn't work out.
The Oracle's early pickups are something that's a little bit more common on junglers after the change, where they persist through death too. So he doesn't really have to worry about being the one on the front line and also the one that's in charge of that vision control. But really, again, we're talking about that top lane and the tiers that you brought up. There's again, oh, here we go, the charm initiate.
Nari gets charmed. We do see the exhaust going down, so Kami's damage is going to be mitigated. A nice sidestep from Nari. Manages to get him out of range of that second Spirit Rush, and Kami jumped in, but got the exhaust, so fair trade for that Spirit Rush.
So what we're about to say about the top lane is that Fabulous has not got a tier either. It used to be a very common item on Kha'Zix, but he's gone very early game fighting potential here. He's got all combat stats with the Brutalizer and the Doran's Blade. So he has even more 1v1 potential in that top.
Well, we do see the little Wraiths being secured by Kami.
Well,
sniffed out that potential.
He actually, Fabulous actually was able to get the last hit on that. So he's doing a good job counter jungling, but paiN is slowly getting back into this because he's taking the double golems, whereas Fabulous is taking the red and the Wraiths here, and then each of them returns to farm the lane.
Riosta charges up that slingshot, does manage to jump out cleanly. BRTT's Ezreal got quite a bit of damage down actually. Riosta not super tanky right now. He doesn't have any additional resistances. Minor amount of HP, but nothing really to write home about. Sitting on 59 CS at the 15-minute mark. His opponent, Surti's, falling a little bit further behind as this game continues. And as you mentioned, Dark Passage and actually his own team nicking away those jungle camps in the top half of the jungle. You can see paiN being pinged out. They're well aware of his position, and Fab, with no real, massive minion waves, he's now once again left that top lane to roll down to the middle, and could be in anticipation of the dragon.
We really talked about how important the early game was going to be for Dark Passage again, because it was so important last game. But there hasn't been a lot of action yet, and it's really going to come down to the first team fights here. They're waiting on the level 11 that we just have from Fab now, that he will be able to reset in those team fights. Well,
we asked the question in the previous game, can Fab survive to level 11? However, the answer to the question was yes. In this match, he's done it again. Let's talk a little bit about the mid laners. We haven't really looked at them all that much, bar for a few ganks. Kami rushed that Abyssal Scepter as his first item. It's not a Deathfire Grasp.
That's the big point that I was going to bring up. It's got that magic reduction aura, but you're missing out on so much of the reason that people are picking Ahri so often these days, and it's the burst potential that she has when catching people out. We saw him catch Karthus out earlier and not have the power to finish him off. Usually when an Ahri is going to be able to catch a Karthus like that in a charm and get off her full combo, with it, had that been a Deathfire Grasp, they would have been able to kill Naru.
Well, we'll see how and where Kami decides to itemize his Dark Passage. Now jump on this dragon, and it just gets melted thanks to all of those damage sources. Karthus and Kha'Zix with their current items, that dragon didn't stand a chance.
Now the Karthus with the solo damage, double damage on those late wastes, and then the isolation damage from Kha'Zix just adds so much. They're able to burn it down very quickly, but I'm still wondering about this mid lane matchup. It seems like Kami built that magic resist sort of for the lane matchup, and that's sort of because he was losing in CS, but it's a very interesting situation, as we don't usually see that. Ahri usually has the kill potential right now, but because of that change and going towards a more defensive item, she's lost a lot of pressure.
So Kami has picked up that Fiendish Codex now, so slowly going to start working towards what we believe to be the Deathfire Grasp. We see a top lane tower being taken down by paiN Gaming, and you're actually seeing FabFab back off a lot. Now we do see Riosta, he's instantly exhausted. Let's bounce his up. Crescendo's going to lock up both Litelion and Riosta, and the tidal wave falls short. Just not enough water in the ocean. Requiem comes down. That was cancelled. Kami was able to jump onto Naru. Naru's in trouble now. The exhaust is thrown out. He's running out of mana as Kami is just hop, skipping, and jumping everywhere. And this time round, he makes the kill stick.
This time he's able to get it because Naru was just standing still, channeling that ultimate. He was able to find him and cancel the Requiem, so that's a huge cooldown plus the kill. Looks like doesn't matter if he goes with Abyssal Scepter, still able to get the job done.
Yeah, managed to land a full combo out of range of the tower, lands a good charm into Riosta. He's actually going to drop his HP quite significantly. Number of paiN Gaming team members rock up, and with Nocturne and Wukong, that's one thing that paiN Gaming can do very well. If they make it to towers, those towers are going to go down super quickly.
Even with the last couple wins from paiN, though, they're still behind in global gold. Dark Passage are doing a very good job right now, and a lot of that gold is being spread out among the team. So Karthus has been able to get his Rod of Ages, and though he skipped that tier, he's actually going for a more mid-game spike in damage, which will be afforded to him by that needlessly large rod. It can either be turned into a death cap or a Zanya's and allow him a longer stay in the middle of the team fights.
Well, we'll see how he can manage his mana, because in that previous fight with Kami, he ran out of his mana pool. And I imagine the blue buff control, now that 5 towers are down in total, it's going to become crucial for Dark Passage and Naru. Without the ability to regen and get that CDR, it may make his life a little more difficult. We see FabFab also differing his build this time around. He's got that Brutalizer, BF Sword, and a pickaxe, so possibly a Bloodthirster next. It's a little different from what we've seen previously, where he sort of rushed that Hex Drinker. We've already talked about the lack of Manamune, but what do you think of this heavy AD early build?
Yeah, both of these solo lanes here from Dark Passage are going without the tiers. So the extended team fights are going to be a bit worse for them, but the burst damage is going to be there, and the mid-game power spike is going to be there much quicker. So that's enabling them to actually get this earlier game lead.
Oh, Riosta gets charmed up. That's a Cell Division passive. The rest of paiN Gaming turn their focus onto Naru. The tower is still hammering away in the background. The RTT is going to be able to pick up the second kill, as it was Sir T that secured the first. A flash forward onto Holy Thoth. One more crushing blow is going to secure the kill. And that's 3 quick kills for paiN Gaming.
The long-range initiation for paiN right there. We talked about the Ahri and Nocturne combo that you can't escape from, and then capitalize on it, also using the Wukong's teleport.
Well, FabFab's going to be able to get out of range of that unspeakable horror from Sir T. He's still looking to try to defend, but this is going to be a 2 versus 5. FabFab gets jumped on. He's going to leap over the wall thanks to his mobility, and he gets out cleanly. But for the time being, paiN Gaming with that fight take back the gold lead.
Talked about paiN Gaming punishing people for being spread out, and they did it right there. They usually run the team comps that are able to catch people, and that was just Karthus having no option to get back out. Zac gets charmed under the turret, and they easily burst him down, also taking down his passive.
Well, we do see right now that Dark Passage have got full HP bars, full mana bars, and they're starting to push down this middle lane. They may want the tower.
They would love to be able to answer with an objective, but all of paiN are going to be returning here. They don't have the option of the Paranoia for the long engage here, but our Spirit Fire, or Spirit Rush, has such a short cooldown that she'll be fine in this team fight here. That blue buff just now running out.
So don't forget the teleport was used in the previous fight by Venom, so it's going to be a couple of minutes before that is available for use. Cyclone still on cooldown, whereas all of Dark Passage's abilities barring that tidal wave are available for use. You can see Riosta hanging out on the side, and we've seen that from Zax. They like to engage from out of sight, like to catch their opponents off guard, and hiding in the jungle is one of the best ways to do it.
And the oracles are key to that as well. Good job by Espeon, clearing out around the middle lane here where all the action is going down. Those are the only outer turret that's left standing here, and one that they want to keep standing so they can keep controlling the center area of this map and pull off those long-range picks that we just saw.
Well, Paranoia is becoming available very, very shortly from Sir T's Nocturne. And you can see the countdown time on the top of the screen. 25 seconds before Dragon is up. You can see vision being littered across the map here for paiN Gaming. They want to pick this fight. They want to be in the Dragon Pit. You can see BRTT's recalling. He's now going to rejoin his team as the rest of Dark Passage are grouped up in this bottom half of the map.
That ward that Dark Passage just had inside their own jungle and that paiN cleared out saved Caitlyn's life right there. If it wasn't for that, they would have continued on their gank path down to the bottom lane and made Caitlyn pay for the free farming.
Well, you can see that Venom still thinks he can taste some blood of a Piltover Sheriff, because Tillion's Caitlyn's very, very alone in that lane. He's going to shove it out, and now finally Venon's going to back off. Riosta with an Oracles of his own. He's clearing out the vision. Oh, Venon's invisible. He's dived in. Cyclone is available. This is 2 members of paiN Gaming taking on 3 of Dark Passage. The first victim to fall will be Naru, as a Crescendo manages to land the last hit. Now Requiem is available, being channeled down. Now Riosta is backing away. He's going to get dropped by the Ezreal, throwing out those Mystic shots. That's a double kill thanks to those Mystic shots. FabFab has had 0 impact.
Oh, he doesn't know where he went.
We do see FabFab manages to escape, and paiN Gaming, they lose 1, but pick up 4.
Fabulous has been spotted on the map now. He doesn't know where to go. The wards here for paiN are littered around, and they want to catch this one.
Oh, he may have gotten out the charm. Potentially a max range would have caught him. Venom Razor's going to try catch up. Yeah, he's going to use that little stealth decoy. Not going to be enough, as BRTT said, guys, let's focus. The objective is more important. He started Dragon.
He got pinged out. This is one of the only places that he can hide, and pings are still going down on him.
Oh, True Shot Barrage is flying across the map. It's not going to be able to pick him up, and FabFab is going to, in fact, suicide there. Goes down to the turret. No Duskbring available for Sir T, but Dragon was secured. Convincing teamfight win, and now paiN Gaming take a significant lead in this deciding game.
It's very funny to watch a Karthus play against this paiN Gaming team, because Karthus did a really good job right there of flashing in just before he was going to die into the entire paiN Gaming team. But paiN are an all-in team that dive forward, so they all just jumped over the Karthus body and kept the chase on.
Well, Holy Thought is in a little bit of trouble, gets feared out by Sir T, forced to flash over the wall as Kami actually used the Spirit Rush in there, trying to pick up an extra kill, but he does manage to get away. Summon Spell blown, however. Right
paiN
now,
Gaming also able to get another minion wave shoved up to the bottom turret, which does buy them time and the option of clearing out Baron Pit with that Oracles.
Well, we'll have to see how it works out for them. Oracles has been running for a very long time in this matchup. Riosta's been...
Another one, yeah.
Yeah, he's had that pink eye since about 12 or 13 minutes of the game, and has been denying a lot of paiN's vision. And right now, I think it's more important than it was earlier in the matchup, as paiN is less afraid of pushing into Dark Passage's jungle, getting that early vision, or getting that deep vision down. In terms of itemization, we do see that Deathfire Grasp has been completed for a little while in Kami. We were talking about it. We do see that blue build Ezreal. Mirror Mana completed, as well as those Iceborne Gauntlets. And truthfully, we do see Holy Thought this time around. He's not going to be able to get caught out. That lost Spirit Rush, and that just looked too easy.
That is what we're used to seeing from Ahri, going all in on the supports.
Not over yet. Riosta just gets caught by a charm. He's supposed to use that slingshot to get away. And Kami is just... he's very scary right now. That was basically 1v1, then 1v1, which he won both of.
Now that he does have that Deathfire, it's pretty much the key to Ahri, that 5th spell that she deserves to have in her combo. And it's usually the support that they're picking out at this stage in the game, because most of the supports now run in the current meta are ranged supports that don't rush a lot of health, and they never rush resistances. So they're always very susceptible to that burst from Ahri, even more so in this case because of that Abyssal Scepter that was rushed.
And look how quickly that tower just goes down. That crushing blow damage coming out of Venom is really helping drop those towers quickly. He actually used the decoy up towards the tower and was thinking about using that as an initiation tool. But this time around, they don't decide to tower dive. 4 members of Dark Passage in this mid lane, while in the bottom lane, FabFab is trying to find out Sir T. He's just defending that split-pushing Nocturne.
And it's just a tank Nocturne too, so he can get fairly aggressive and not have to worry about... Oh!
That was just pure damage from that Mirror Mana Mystic Shot Ezreal, completely removing Holy Thought. Final tick of damage lands from Kami. Now all of a sudden FabFab is caught by the Dustbringer. No stealth is going to help protect you against that big blue trail once it lands.
Supports have to watch their positioning so carefully when playing against an Ahri, because like I said, they are usually the target that he's going after to try and burst down to even the numbers out here. 5 versus 4 situation. for paiN.
And take a look at the poke here from BRTT. He's completely controlling these fights. He won the previous engagement. Now we see that Sir T dives forward, picks up the first kill of the engagement onto Athelion. In the background, paiN gets dropped as he was tanking up that tower for a very long period of time. They trade 1 for 1, but paiN get the tower. Again,
Something we're used to seeing from paiN. When they dive deep. And they were not going to let Caitlyn get out of that one alive.
There was no chance of that one. And good timing from Sir T. Only threw down that paranoia once the barrier had actually timed out, landing and shredding through all of that. So 5 towers to 2. paiN Gaming extend that gold lead just a little bit further. They're going to start spending some of that hard-earned cash. And they're now working their way down the very last inner turret. It's a position that Dark Passage were actually in the previous game. However, now they're on the receiving end.
Yeah, paiN Gaming definitely more at home now that they've been able to get off a couple successful chain dives. This is what they're used to, and they're feeling much better with how this game is going now.
Well, we'll have to see how effectively this last couple of pushes works out. Remember that Dark Passage actually banned out Zyra as their first ban of the game. And what I keep thinking to myself is, imagine how good that counter engage or counter disengage would be against this sort of all-in team of everyone jumping in. But hindsight is 2020 right now. paiN Gaming, they're clearing out the vision around Baron Pit, and there's a lot of Dark Passage wards. Look at that mini-map, it is just littered with little blue dots.
It's going to take a while here for Espeon to clear out all of these wards, but he's doing his best. Wukong's there helping him. And Wukong, by the way, his teleport is back up at this point. He's actually a fairly decent split pusher because he has the ability to escape with his invisibility and his decoy, but he also is a decently strong duelist at this point.
Well, we'll have to see if they decide to go for that split push strategy. For the time being, paiN seems to be all about the counter vision in this Baron Pit area. And you know, we talk about it so much here in Europe, about how European teams and the European meta is all about the Baron. It seems as Dark Passage and paiN, their focus has been very Baron heavy as well, and it could stem from the fact that paiN are not as comfortable pushing inner turrets.
paiN would love to be able to draw Dark Passage out into the open once again so that they can fight them in an open battleground where they can use that combo of the Crescendo and the Wukong ultimates.
Well, we'll see if Dark Passage managed to fall for that one. So T clearing out those Caitlyn traps, making sure that they don't get trapped up in the heat of battle when it really counts. And Espeon just continuing to counter ward right now. Dark Passage are playing this one very, very patiently. And if you actually look across the CS numbers, with the exception of their AD carry, they're winning out the CS for the most part. And that's really what's sort of helping them keep in this game. They're only about 5,000 gold behind, which is not a game-changing value at this point when you consider it's divided between 5 players.
Well, we are going to have to wait a little bit longer as Ezreal was split pushing here. So it's going to take him joining the team before they do feel confident enough to pull off that dive combo that they're looking for.
Well, we'll have to see if BRTT spams out those Mystic shots from the side. It's been the Iceborne Gauntlet slows that have helped him set up the kills for his team. He landed slows onto Holy Thought that allowed him to get bursted down. He landed slows onto Athelion that allowed him to get jumped on. So a lot of pressure coming from this AoE CC that can come down from paiN Gaming. A 5-man stack in this top lane. BRTT's just spamming those Mystic shots over him. With blue buff, he's never going to run out of mana.
They don't actually have that much armor to tank up the turret either. Wukong has got several offensive items. There goes
Naru, just gets charmed up and removed from the fight before it's even begun. They do see the Requiem coming down. They've traded 1 for 1. Both mid laners are down as Fab's been dropped in the background. Now Rios is the next point of focus for paiN Gaming. They are unable to pick him up. The end of this little engagement is a 2 for 1, and it all started from yet another pinpoint charm.
We don't need armor to tank a turret. We've got Ahri. She can go head first in there. Fairly reminiscent of Faker dive, actually.
Well, it does
catching them off guard.
It does manage to work out for them. Riosta's very, very low. Not going to be able to really re-engage without healing, so he's backed off. paiN Gaming, when the team fight, they get a couple extra kills. Bubble is going to at least slow Sir T down. Ace in the hole is available, but you can see BRTT doing the best he can to basically body block. Leon looking to try and get vision. True Shot Barrage just missing the tail there of Holy Thoth. May not have been enough to kill him, but it definitely would have hurt a lot, that's for sure.
If that Mystic shot had hit, then the combo would have definitely killed her.
Well, Athelion is still at max HP. He's got the on-hit slow. Uses the 90 caliber net to chase. Gets the slow now onto Venom. And Venom has got a lot of HP. Hilt of a Peacemaker goes out, but doesn't actually manage to connect. And Gotta be a little bit careful there. That's how he thought, with no mana pool and potentially against 3. Lithilion did well to not go down in the fight, but he wasn't really able to impact it because his team members just went down so incredibly quickly.
I think that next time around, paiN are not going to look for the turret dive, and they'd rather draw Dark Passage out to that barren area where they could go very offensive like that, except not have to have Ahri tank a turret the whole time and cost them a life.
Well, we'll see how quickly they can react to this one. Dark Passage are onto the Dragon Pit. paiN Gaming have immediately responded. Dragon is secured by Sir T. That's basically a steal from Dark Passage. FabFab's going to flash over the wall. We do see an immediate flash from Venom. The Caitlyn trap not going to be enough. Crushing Blow secures the kill, and Lithilion does get dropped on his HP by that True Shot barrage. Paranoia was used, but insta flash backwards, and that was close. That was close for Riosta.
Fairly ballsy recalling in that push, but man, paiN Gaming come down to Dragon, and what do you know, there's a present waiting for them. They would love to have one of those team fights in a pit, like Dragon Pit, and they immediately jump on the opportunity. It's
not over yet, as Lithilion's trying his best to get away. As you see that Venon's chasing, Decoy goes out. There was the on-hit slow there, so it would have at least helped a little bit in kiting, but for the time being, Venon's Wukong is doing a lot of work at scaring people away. The ever-present threat of that Nimbus strike, it cannot be discounted.
Now, Kha'Zix is only down for 10 more seconds, and we are without any of the ultimates besides Crescendo for paiN Gaming.
Well, we'll see if they can make that one work. paiN, I imagine, will play this one a little more defensively, and you can see they're instantly backing off as the numbers of Dark Passage start to group up and become a potential threat there at that mid lane inhibitor turrets.
They don't want to go for another turret dive, and we also have started to pick up some home guards here. Both solo laners for Dark Passage going to be able to recall to base and come out with a speed boost.
Well, they've only got 2 towers to their name. That mid outer turret is still standing and has been for an incredibly extended amount of time during the course of this matchup. And you know, we were talking about how important that was for paiN Gaming to maintain control of that river area and that buff area, and they haven't felt the pressure of Dark Passage at all for basically 12 to 15 minutes. It's all been about paiN Gaming making the plays and then pushing for the objectives.
They have spent so much time clearing out the barren area though, and they still haven't been able to make a play there. Drawing out Dark Passage that far from the base and then popping Paranoia would be the perfect opportunity for this paiN team to pounce.
But both of these teams heavily involved in the ward and de-warding mini-game that is a part of professional League of Legends. Vision controls basically what wins and loses games. And Sir T just trolling Espeon. Throws out the Duskbringer and makes Baron hit him. The bubble comes up, but there's nobody to follow that one up. You see Dark Passage with no vision in the river and past the Baron buff. They're not willing to commit on that. And maybe try and pick him out. Right now, Blue buff is respawned. Naru is going to try to secure this one. You can see paiN Gaming very heavily clustered. However, BRTT a little late to the party. He's just coming down the mid lane now.
This is dangerous for Dark Passage. You can tell they're getting pretty antsy here. They have yet to commit to a foray into the barren area though, and they did get a very nice sneaky ward off.
Oh, Holy thought maybe in a little bit of trouble. The charm actually catches FabFab. Now Paranoia flies forward and FabFab forced to leap away to safety. The tidal wave is at least going to interrupt the rest of paiN Gaming, but the fear throws him backwards. Now Cyclone manages to land on Lithilion. He's basically going to get 1v1 here from Venom. As you can see, BRTT trying to set something up. He flashes forward and the Mystic Shot goes wide. Not going to be able to land the slow. Movement speed is being boosted here for Sir T as he's chasing on the Duskbringer. He's going to be able to use the 90 caliber net, and Lithilion gets away safely. A 1-for-0, but the tower's available.
Cammy with another amazing pick right there, using the second Spirit Rush to dodge that Aqua Prison, and then the fact that you can't get away from the Nocturne Ahri combo, they're able to capitalize on that, which is going to be turned into a Baron fight, finally forced.
Now 5 seconds on the clock before Holy Thought is up, and 4 members of Dark Passage alive and standing. Requiem is there, as is Let's Bounce, and you can see Roesta is trying to put himself in a position where he can challenge for this one. Charm goes wide, FabFab does not get caught out. He steals it! He manages to steal the Baron buff! Now Lithilion is way overextended, he gets slowed. Ignite's going to be able to pick up the kill, and Lithilion should not have been there. He got caught out where he didn't need to be.
Great job sneaking around though. by Riosta. He comes out with the clutch Baron steal, and that may just buy them a few more minutes. Defending at inhibitor turrets, it's still hard for paiN to commit fully to one of those turret dives.
There is
35 seconds, though, is a long death timer.
Yeah, there's so much pressure on Naru and FabFab now to try and defend off against 4, potentially 5 members. However, paiN Gaming, because they took a fair amount of damage during the course of that, they've actually backed away and they haven't attacked the tower.
They still have that all-important Requiem from Karthus, which is scaring paiN Gaming a little bit and causing them to pause.
Well, we'll have to see how effective it is. We have not actually seen a Requiem in a very long time, now that I think about it, and I don't believe they've been super effective. Teleport has been used. Paranoia has certainly dives forward. They want this tower. The focus is Holy Thought. He's going to be the first victim, and the bubble does land, but it's not going to be enough to interrupt anything. FabFab is off on the side. Can he pick up Kami? Oh! That is a dead Kami! Just gets deleted from the map thanks to that isolation bonus. Now Naru gets a wall of pain across all 4 members of paiN Gaming. This is exactly the AoE that Dark Passage is looking for. They've traded 1 for 1. Requiem is about to be challenged, as you can see. Lethelion's trying to pick up the kill. Is Requiem going to be enough? No! Ace in the hole is from downtown, secures a kill. FabFab in the background secures a double kill of his own, and this is an ace in favor of Dark Passage.
They come out with the ace, and they still have Baron buff on FabFab, who is the hard carry here. They can shove up this lane. Bottom turret is already taking minion damage here. They may be able to answer with a couple of the objectives on top of the ace.
The timer is ticking, though. Those death timers, they're still in effect, but unfortunately, as Dark Passage got to push through so many turrets, they may not be able to respond with an inhibitor of their own. They've got 1 tower down. They turn their focus onto the inner mid turret, as the first person to respawn is going to be Espeon Sona. Now they're going to turn onto the inhibitor turret, and it's going to be scary close if they stay.
Looks like they are going to go for here. Ari has home guard boots, so she's coming out fast.
Here comes Ari's Spur Rush. Not available just yet, but will be in a moment or two. And we'll see if he does decide to go in. In the end, decides to pick up just the minion wave. Now, there's super minions pushing down the middle in favor of paiN Gaming. However, their mid inhibitors exposed. So if Dark Passage are able to win another team fight similar to what they just did, they could pick up an inhibitor of their own.
Dark Passage are definitely still in this game. Not only did they get 3 turrets off that, but they also clean out the dragon. So there's not more money on the map for paiN to take, and Dark Passage can safely camp their base now and just wait for that super minion wave to push up and defend it there.
There was a 5,000 gold difference much earlier in the game. That is now 500 gold. Dark Passage have been able to hold on for the most part, and even though they are at a disadvantage as far as the map is concerned, that previous fight is definitely going to give them a lot of confidence, especially when you consider how quickly FabFab just killed Kami, jumping in from the side and playing that, you know, assassin Kha'Zix perfectly.
Yeah, paiN used so much to just take out the support Nami that when Dark Passage came with their full area of effect combination, they didn't have anything to answer back. This Zac plus Karthus right now is enough to get people low enough for FabFab to go in.
And there's Riosta, he jumps in, but he's immediately been focused. We do see that there's a lot of interference being caused by Venom. They're most likely going to trade 1 for 1. Zac is already out of the fight. FabFab's Guardian Angel's been popped, but he's so far behind enemy lines, instantly charmed as he comes back to life, and Kami actually picks himself up a double kill. That was a brave move, and you have to give props to Venom for running all of that interference.
They had everything still for that fight. And paiN used the crescendo to interrupt the FabFab chain combination there. With Zac going down so early, they didn't have a chance for Karthus to get in there and take everybody low enough for FabFab to be able to execute anyone. Being locked up by crescendo, he had no chance. paiN going to push in for another inhibitor turret.
All of a sudden, Dark Passage are now forced to defend once again against an outnumbered team. When you see the stealth comes up from Venom, he's got the ability to Nimbus strike in a moment's notice. Requiem is there for Naru as well, but it does look like Dark Passage are going to give up this inhibitor. They are now 2 inhibitors down. There are super minions in 2 waves and a massive amount of minions in the bottom lane. Naru's going to respond to that one and clear it up with the Defile as best as he can.
Now Karthus does have Flash though, so they may be able to pull off that combination of the Zac Karthus area of effect damage to set up FabFab in the next team fight. The only thing is they don't have much base left to defend.
Yeah, there's nothing left at all. The minions were able to take down that bottom inhibitor tower. So if paiN Gaming now wait for the super minions in the other 2 lanes, they can just sit in the bottom lane, just wait for the minions to start knocking on the door. And the moment someone from Dark Passage answers, they're just going to commit, going to go all in, and possibly win the game that can win them the game.
If Dark Passage are going to come back, it's going to be a long game here, because even if they get an ace at their base, it will take them so long to get up the mid lane, take down the inhibitor, both Nexus turrets and the Nexus, that they won't be able to finish it in just one ace. They'll have to have multiple team fights won here, back to back, to be able to take this one home.
And remember, this is the deciding game between Turkey and Brazil to find out who is going to the grand finals tomorrow. They're playing for that all-important spot, the World Playoffs in Los Angeles, California. We'll see who's going to get one step closer. Guardian Angel is available here for Lithelion. There's no GAs on the side of paiN Gaming, so you've got to keep that in mind. However, Lithelion hasn't necessarily had the impact in these short, bursty team fights. He simply doesn't have enough time to auto-attack. All of paiN Gaming have stacked up. 5 members pushing towards this bottom, exposed inhibitor.
Now the really important Guardian Angel that was on paiN
the charm lands! Nori's going to flash forward, he puts down the zone, his hourglass, he is still alive. Now the crescendo in the backline is going to hold up Riosta and manages to pick up the kill onto Fab. That is one key target down. Requiem is starting to be challenged as Holy Thought is forced out of that fight. 1 kill has been secured there, and it doesn't look like, no, there's no kill, it was a decoy that was taken down. 3 for 0 in favor of paiN Gaming, and a full HP GA. Lithelion's not going to be enough to defend it. paiN Gaming may have just won the game.
Again, the crescendo, locking down Fab.
The boom from the ace in the hole manages to pick up a kill onto the support Escort, but that's not who you need to be killing. A teleport from Venom comes in, he's going to start using that crushing blow to shred down these towers. Lithelion's going to have a godlike defense if he stops it, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. There's so many super minions. Nexus turret 1 is down. Nexus turret 2 is down. They're going to turn their focus onto the Nexus as Lithelion gets his GA popped under the tower. Ladies and gentlemen, paiN Gaming have done this in dramatic style. They win the set 2-1, and they're going to face Gaming Gear tomorrow in the grand finals for the International Wildcard Tournament.
I hope Gaming Gear EU have been taking notes, because Dark Passage made a very impressive showing here. In the last 2 games, they have exposed some weaknesses in paiN Gaming and given Gaming Gear EU a little bit of stuff to work with.
What a tense match if you're a Brazilian fan, if you're a fan of paiN Gaming, because they really had to work hard, and that's the most difficult victory I think we've seen paiN need to pull off over the course of the weekend.
They definitely had to work for that one and for the previous game. Big ups to Dark Passage right there. After the first one, it was a little iffy, but they really adapted well, and they changed up their strategy just enough.
Yeah, such a great game.
Or not just enough.
Such an exciting one to watch, and I think the shortcomings of the team composition for Dark Passage could be an attributing factor. They had great solo lane champions, and they did well in the lanes. But as soon as they had team fights, it just didn't really mesh.
So it was the missing component, the Gragas, that was banned out. They didn't have anything to split up paiN Gaming and allow Fab to go in. In the last 2 team fights, Fab would go in, but he was locked down by Crescendo, because all of paiN were secure with staying together, and they would always have Sona waiting for him to jump in. As soon as he did, he'd get locked up.
You got to give props to Kami. Once he picked up that DFG,
oh yeah,
such a big change.
So many crucial charms landing for Kami. He was able to make plays from the mid game all the way through.
Well, that wraps it up for us here today. We're going to send it over to D-Man and Jet to break down